Hi, in this video I will give you the brief review for assignment 5 and how to get started. So assignment 5 is, let me show you assignment 5 first. We go to assignments. So in assignment 5, we have to create 3 classes for a student database, student class, course and offering. And this is a typical stuff, the comparable interface and the other methods, read the file, compare to, and the static objects. And these are the 60 marks for 3 classes. And then we have to print the contents of the file of these in a separate row and define these 3 queries. You must have at least two files read, could be more. So here is an example of the sample implementation. And I already posted the sample code on Canvas. If you go on modules, scroll down, you'll find the sample solution. Again, it is incomplete. You will not get full marks if you just submit it. You have to redo it and complete the missing code, and also change the example. You cannot use my CSV file. So here it is. So first we need to make those 3 classes. Here is an example of the class student. So in a student class, we get those import statements in the beginning, and then we have these 4 instance variables: ID, first name, last name, email, and these are those corresponding comparator objects we did in the previous assignments and the labs. Here is our constructor. Now one thing, note that I am adding ID as in the constructor, it's not using the static counter. And the toString and compare to default, these are those 4 static inner classes for ID, for first name, for last name, for email. Same thing as we did earlier. Here is the constructor. Here is the function static method to create an array. It helps us in our testing. And here is the code reading the file we did earlier too. I have some modifications. Let me show you again over here. So this is a method called create array. You give string file name and some delimiter, how the items are separated. In our case, comma. So it will be returned in string array. I also made one method overloading small example. If a person only give the string file name and don't give the second delimiter, we call the first method and we pass comma ourselves. So normal use for the method overloading we saw in our earlier examples. So let's see our code for reading file IO. As always, we make our buffered reader. We want to read line by line. We read the first line. We split it based on this given delimiter. The first item contains the count. It is an example for our student CSV file. The first is the count, how many items are there, and then the remaining entries. So I come over here. I'm reading the file. So read the first entry, and that is we read the first line. We split it and we parse the first entry as a count, and then we make our student array based on the given count value. And we also print some message how many lines we are reading, and we go for our for loop to read all those lines. Each line we read, we split it. Now there must be at least 4 arguments, otherwise we get error, because for our student object we need those 4 entries. So if item dot length is more than 4, there may be some extra entries, it's okay, but at least 4 should be there. We also, first is the integer, so we parse it, make our student array object based on those given 4 entries, and we put it in the corresponding index location. If there is any exception, no, it's not exception. If argument's length is not greater than 4, it is less. We print some message that missing required entries. We print the line as well, and we give the message that we are completely throwing away the file and we are using the default proxy data. I mean, you can improve the code, only throw away that line and keep the remaining lines, but I want to keep things simple, otherwise we get nulls in the middle and we need to remove them. So if exception comes, and in the end also we close the file, in.close. Now if exception comes, we catch them here, and here's a new way we didn't see earlier. If you're catching multiple exceptions, we can separate them by pipe sign. So if, for example, when we were formatting, if a person have a wrong entry over there in the ID field or any other count, and we throw exception, number format exception, so we come over here and we throw away the whole code and we just use the proxy data. So this is a simple code reading a file and giving a student array. Now here I also made some testing code for student to separate, and here to run from the command line, we can from the main method here, if person enters, I can show you. So here we are, Control Shift S, we open the shell and I compile my student code. It compiles. Now if I run student, by default it just use the proxy. However, if I want to give some array, I can give the file name here. It reads that file. And if I want to use my specific file, it is not based on delimiter but some other criteria. I can use maybe colon, but in our case it is comma. So we got this error, number format exception, because we gave colon, so it just made as the proxy data. So if you have a wrong file name is missing, or entries in the file, it just reads the default. And we read all the file and we printed them. So that was the requirement, to print each line on a separate line and sort them. Here is an example to show you what we are doing. So in this testing code for the student, this is a simple check. If args length is 1, I give the file name. If arg length is 2, I give the file name and the delimiter. Otherwise, I just create my proxy. And now what we do over here, this is the original simple for loop. Here is the sorting by the first name, sorting by the last name, sorting by the email, sorting by the ID. Similar code, and we got all these outputs. Now let's see the next file, the course. I made a minor changes in the course, otherwise it's mostly same. So in the course, we have again the same thing. We have those import statements. We have these 4 variables, exactly same thing here. Constructor, toString, compare. One new thing I did over here, that in these inner classes, I also place 2 string methods. So if you wanna print it, what type of comparator it is, it will print sort by course name. So for each one, it's not required, but just I will show you later. I also added 2 string methods in each of those inner classes. And also I did one more change in my testing code. Remember, in the student class, I have to make so many those testing examples for each comparator. If you see over in the student class, I made this sort by first name, sort by last name, sort by email, sort by ID. There's a minor change that the remaining code repeats. There's a pattern here. So we can make a for loop and repeat all these 4 loops within that loop. That's what I did in the course example. So here's that example. Remaining testing code is same, but in this case, this is the original one as it is. So I make these comparison objects array. We cannot make array of comparator but we can for these comparators, but we can make these object array. I mean, yeah, okay. So I'm going through all of these objects. There was a minor variation. I initially code I had object array. I just removed it to keep things simple. So here we make this comparator array. These are the our for loop going through each comparator. And here is the advantage of making that toString. I made a toString in the comparator so it can print it right here just for more aesthetic. And I sort it. Now, one more thing I did in this example, I used a printf. We didn't use printf earlier in the course, but you may have done with Alan. In printf, we can specify the format. So this is the actual string which goes, and then after comma separator, we print the entries. So I'm not using the default toString, but I can show you the output of the both. But here, for example, if you see the output of his code, so if I use the default toString, it prints like this original. It's not so clear, but if I use this fancy one, they are nicely aligned. So that's why I'm using this printf. This is the toString, this is the printf. So here it is. So this is as it is %s. And here you can see this is the course sum, but it is by default right aligned. So it is right aligned, which makes sense. That's why you see a gap over here. And these are left aligned. So here is the example for that pretty for mat. So %s as it is, no space. Here I'm giving 10 spaces to course num, and it is by default right align. The second one, which is my major, I made -20s, so space 20, but it is now left align. And the last one as it is, no alignment is fine. And then this %n is to go to a new line. It will help you, but if you are confused, you can ignore it, but it's a nice tool, nice feature to learn. So this is the courses. Now we go to the